you guys submit, he's just gonna put a little
video
thing there so he can record, so he can put it up on his channel.
It's so small.
Yeah.
It's a little, yeah, that's pretty cool. So, we did compile a list of questions yesterday. Mr. Jacobo is going to share his story. If there's time, we can ask him some of those, but I think it would be really good to hear what he has to say first, and then hopefully we'll open it up to some questions. We'll take turns. The reason why you have them in front of you is so you can write down some keywords or answers. Do you mind if she records it too?
That's fine.
And we might have students come and taking pictures because we told the yearbook people that you were going to. You're famous. I mean, this is safe. So he's going to share his story with us. Hopefully there'll be time. We have about 50 minutes.
Okay.
We go till about 11:20-ish. You guys can open it up. You can raise your hand. Make sure, write down the answers so that if you want to use him as your example in your definition essay, you certainly can. Okay? All right, well, I'll open it up to you.
Well, my name's Steven. First I'll tell you a little bit about me. 24 years old. I got two little boys, Brayden and Tayden, 3-year-old and a 2-year-old. Graduated from Douglas High in 2009. I went to CVMS. Actually, I never came to this school. I was born in Los Angeles in 1990 and been back and forth my whole life from here, LA, to Tahoe. It's been everywhere really. Let's see, after I graduated high school in 2009, I left for the Army in August that year. I was waiting for 2 years. I got out in 2011. I had to get out due to a knee injury. I have messed up tendons in my right knee, and they didn't want to be responsible for having to pay me for getting injured during deployment, so I got out for that reason. But that's all right. And then, see, that was 2011, and then I broke my back 2013, February 26th at Sierra Tahoe Resort. I was working there. I was a chef, working at like 3 or 4 restaurants there. And I never snowboarded before, but I figured since working there, I had a free pass and everything, I might as well learn how to snowboard. So I was riding for about 3 months. I was going off jumps my second day. I've always been good at extreme sports my whole life because I've rollerbladed, skateboarded, did a lot of diving, flips. I was in a stunt show in Carson City, you know, in the Army, and then snowboarding. So I've always liked extreme sports. So on February 26th last year, I was on my last run. We're just about to go home, and this was a run I'd never been down before. It was towards the end too. I was picking up more and more speed. See, there was a tabletop on my right-hand side, then a jump on my left-hand side, and then trees on both sides, so you couldn't go around. And I was going faster and faster, and I had to pretty much decide which way to take, either going off the jump or the tabletop. Either way though, you're gonna get launched in the air because there's a huge incline right after that's pretty much straight down like that. So I went off the jump thinking I'm just gonna coast off it and land flat on my snowboard. Well, it shot me upside down, and I fell about 25 feet straight on my back on solid ice, because during that time it was sunny and it wasn't snowing at all, so it was just really icy. And it felt like a movie in a way because everything was slow motion, and while I was falling, I'm thinking to myself, this is going to end up really bad. And I'm watching my friends on top of the mountain, just like 3 of my buddies just watch me like as I'm falling. It felt forever, and then I hit the ground, I hear a huge crunch. I broke 4 vertebrae in my spine. My snowboard smacks me in the face, like my face is bleeding. Then I start like rolling down the mountain, and then like I had all the air knocked out of me, and it was probably the worst pain I ever felt in my life. I'm just gasping for air, groaning, just making all these horrible noises. So my buddies come down, they're holding my neck, and one of my buddies told me afterwards, that I was squeezing his arm so hard that I left a bruise on his arm. So how much pain I was in. They put me on the stretcher, brought me all the way down the mountain, put me on the helicopter, and I got airlifted all the way to Reno. And I had surgery the next day. I got a bunch of rods and screws in my spine. See, before and after the surgery, I was able to move my legs. And the doctor thought, because all the swelling in my spine was the reason why. Because 3 or 4 days after my surgery, my legs started getting weaker and weaker to the point where I couldn't move them anymore. And the doctor thought it was because of the swelling in my spine. And he thought I'd be walking out of the hospital in a walker. And I was there for a month and still nothing. And then I went to my rehab afterwards to learn how to do like daily activities and stuff like that. And then I was there for about 3 weeks to a month and still nothing. And actually, while I was there, 2 of the doctors there told me that I would never walk again, because they both went over my x-rays and just everything that, all the stuff my surgeon had told them. I didn't want to believe it though, because my surgeon originally told me I was going to be walking out of the hospital. So it was hard, and they both told me that I would never walk again. And the first time they told me at my rehab, I was actually in a standing frame, where they hold you up to get pressure on your legs just to stand up, assisted. And that's when one of the doctors told me I never walk in, so that made it like twice as bad. Then a day later, I asked to talk to another doctor, and he said I would never walk again. So the first 6 months was pretty tough. I cried for like 6 months straight. I had to let's see, for that first year, I had to relearn everything. Like daily activities like washing dishes or taking care of my kids, vacuuming, sweeping, just things like that around the house. And then even being out in public was, at first it was different, because I was always used to walking around, and now in public sitting in a chair. So it was really awkward at first. But over time, it got easier, and I learned how to go up and down curbs, just be out in public and not be shy, and just things like that. That was the hardest part about it, really, is just being out, because I wasn't confident anymore. So that's pretty much what the first year was, me relearning everything. And then when I hit my year mark, February 26th, actually this year was my year mark. So that's when I pretty much decided that I was going to move forward in my life and not let it get me down anymore, because they say within the first 6 months of your injury, if anything was to happen, if you start walking again, then that's what's going to happen. But after that 6 months, if nothing changes, then most likely that's how it's going to be. But there are some people that do get some feeling or some movement back in their legs years afterwards. But once I hit my year mark, I just wanted to move forward. I started making YouTube videos because I was watching other paraplegics make videos, and that's kind of what got me to move forward. And then I started, because there's this guy named Jerry Diaz and Aaron Wills Fotheringham. I don't know if you guys watch Nigel Circus, but yeah, I started watching his videos, and that's a new sport, WCMX, wheelchair skating. It's a type of chair that I have right now. It's a $5,000 chair. I actually didn't pay for it on my own. I did a fundraiser page on my Facebook, and then all my friends and family, I got about $3 grand from my friends, and the High Fives Foundation, they helped pay for the other $2 grand of it. And I'll talk about that in a minute, but see, so I started making my videos, and then I started trying sports like hand cycling, and then started lifting weights and trying to push myself. And you just gotta stay positive, because if you're down and negative about things, that's how your life's gonna be. And if you're positive, other people will see that around you, and then everything just works out better. Okay, and then see, originally I hit up the High Five Foundation for therapy, just try and start walking again, because this was actually before I hit my year mark. And then 2 months later, see, February was my year mark, and then March is when I hit them up again, That's when I started watching all these skating videos, asking if they can help me with a grant, a grant to get this chair. And they told me I had to wait till June to sign up for it. So by that time, I already had about half the money for this chair. And through all those months up to June, I was doing like hand cycling. I did my first race in Reno after 6 months of even being on the hand cycle. I got a race against some Paralympics and actually came in 10th out of 20th, which is not bad for only being 6 hours on the bike. So I got to meet some cool people there, and they actually gave me the hand cycle for free, which is about $7 to $8 grand brand new. So once I applied for the grant, I got accepted for it probably about a month later. Then I ordered the chair, this one right here. I got it about maybe a month ago, a little bit more. So yeah, I've been taking it to the skate park and trying to learn some cool stuff in the chair. I mean, there's not very many people in wheelchairs that do this type of stuff that I do. So it's actually getting me noticed in town lately. You guys already know I've been in the paper, and then yesterday at the Reno News Channel 4 came down and did some stuff at me at the skate park, and at my therapy recorded me for a while. So that'll probably be in the news in about 2 to 3 weeks. I don't know the exact date. And then the Highs Five Foundation on the 5th, they're having some event at the airport where 15 of the local high five athletes, which I'm considered one of them, anyone that's got grants by that foundation is one of the athletes, and they're doing some high five recognition at the airport, at the upstairs in the museum, where like pictures of us on the wall and a biography and pictures of our x-rays, and it's supposed to be a big deal. So that's Thursday. And then on the 9th I leave for Canada to go to bobsledding. And I was originally going to do this last year because they're looking for Paralympics to participate in the 2018 Winter Games. And this guy who's like the main guy for it is the USA BSA Association. It's the bobsled and skeleton racing. This guy contacted me last winter, but that time I just felt really weak and I wasn't ready for it. So he hit me up again a few months ago asking if I wanted to try out for it. I told him yeah, and then I had to get my passport ready, get physicals, and get all this money ready for the trip. And then I'm gonna be out there for about 2 or 3 weeks training, doing some races at the end, and everything works out all right. And they'll put me on the team. And then hopefully I can go to Europe and train, just train all the way up into 2018, hopefully participate in the Winter Games. So that's my long-term goal. Hopefully I can do that. So, and then I think that's it for right now. Is there any questions?
Wow, that's an incredible story. Question. So the airport, is that the one,
Yeah, the Reno Tahoe
Reno
one.
Tahoe one?
Yeah. What the Highs Fives Foundation is, the ones that got me the grant for this chair, they help people with spinal cord injuries. They're based in Truckee. It's a non-profit organization. They're pretty big in the area. They specifically help people with spinal cord injuries that have gotten hurt, like in snowboarding or skiing or snowmobiling or something like that. It helps them get back into their sport. So that's one reason why they helped me get this chair. And I don't know if anyone's heard of Grant Corgan. Probably not, but he's a big local guy in Reno. He's an author. He made this book called 2 Feet Back, and he's part of the High Five Foundation. That's originally how I got involved with it, by reading his book. And he's a pretty big known dude in this area. I'm surprised you haven't heard about him yet. But yeah, I mean, that's my story. Yes.
What was your favorite subject in school?
Well, even now, I love astronomy and geology. I've always been throughout all high school, really. I guess throughout all middle school, I was always into weight training. But yeah, I'd say mostly astrology and geology. I just like learning about the stars and just, like rocks and artifacts and cool things like that. Hey.
I have a question about your chair.
Yeah.
Did you used to have like the one they have in the hospital before you got that one?
Yeah. It was really old.
Yeah.
Not very good ones, yeah.
What does this one allow you to do that the other one didn't? How is this one different?
Well, let's see. The one that I had before this was an everyday chair. It was pretty much just to do everyday type things, roll around, go to the store, just do whatever, be around the house. And this one, see, my everyday chair, that was about 1,800, and this one's like almost 5,000. This one, it's pretty much made to be thrown around at the skate park, indestructible. It's a lot heavier, but I can't really notice it anymore for being in it after a month or two because you build up strength. It's got a suspension in the front, they're called frog legs, with skateboard wheels. And these rims flex because you're doing like a lot of jumping and bouncing at the skate park. I mean, there's a top of the line wheels and the quick release axle. You just push the button, the wheel just pops right off. In the back, it's got Fox racing suspension.
Hey, my dad has that on his
And then it's
bike.
got a grind bar underneath the axle, so you're not grinding on your axle. Then underneath the chair, there's a 4-link suspension. I mean, I can show you guys. Hold on.
Okay.
I'll just do a little move real quick to show you guys the underneath part of my chair. Wait, and then there's a footrest. It's a diamond plate footrest, so when you're grinding, you're not grinding on your feet. And I'm still learning how to do some grinds, so I'm not that good at it yet. So I'm just gonna fall back, and you guys can see underneath me. So that